Hello, friends! This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Yeah, bang! There we go. Now, today, as we move backwards through the letter H, I'm going to be talking about someone who needs no introduction. Jascha Heifetz. Now, my Overflow room Heifetz stuff consists of various collections and box sets that have come out over the centuries, over the years. The definitive Heifetz collection is that big RCA box, which I actually have sitting upstairs there, probably a couple of them, and, which sort of relegated most of these single discs down here to the Overflow room, where they are conveniently kept under the letter H. And I've divided this into two clumps. First, we're going to talk about the Naxos Historical Heifetz stuff, some of which is here. Whatever I had. I don't make any claim to being 100%, complete when it comes to all these things, because the RCA edition had, I think, just about everything there was to have. But there's that. And then there are some other RCA issues from here in Japan, and that'll be the next video. So let's start with Heifetz on Naxos. It's mostly concertos of various types in his earliest recordings, and some of them are just amazing. First, we have the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto with John Barbaroli and the London Philharmonic. This is from 1937. Wieniawski's Second Violin Concerto with also Barbaroli and the London Phil, and that's from 1935. And then one of the most important recordings in the history of the violin, I'm not kidding, the Sibelius Concerto with Beecham and the London Phil, which was recorded in 1935 at Abbey Road Studios. This was the recording that put the Sibelius Concerto on the map. Because you have to remember, Sibelius, first of all, was still around then. Remember, he still had, 22 years to live, 24 years, something like that. He was going strong, and everybody was waiting for his Eighth Symphony, which wasn't coming. The Violin Concerto had been a success d'estime at its premiere. It was not considered to be one of the great romantic violin concerti, although it certainly is. And it was only when Heifetz started playing it and playing the pants off of it, that the other violinists started to take it up and realize what a glorious work it was. And of course, he had Beecham, who's an incredible Sibelius conductor, as his accompanist, and it's still an amazing performance. So that's really the best thing about this particular disc, quite frankly. The Tchaikovsky, of course, is great too, and Wieniawski no one especially cares about. So there you go. Mozart, Violin Concertos 4 and 5. All right, number 4 is also with Beecham. This is from 1947 with the Royal Phil. Sound is getting much better in these things. The 5th is with Barbaroli and the London Phil from 1934. And then the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto with Beecham from 1949. Boy, do they blaze through the Mendelssohn. My God, it's exciting. People think, again, I've said this so many times, that Heifetz was too fast. He wasn't too fast. He would only have been too fast if he played things at a speed at which he could not shape, inflect, articulate, or otherwise, expressively render the music. But the fact is, he could do anything at any speed. And it was remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. So, yeah, that's lots of fun. Prokofiev. The Prokofiev Second Violin Concerto with Koussevitzky in Boston from 1937. Heifetz also got really good accompanists. He didn't really tolerate second best in anything. He was, sort of one of those serious perfectionists. And so everybody was on their toes when Heifetz was around. And then the Louis Grunberg Violin Concerto, which is a beautiful work. This is with Monta in San Francisco from 1945. It's a big work, 38 minutes long, and it deserves to return to the repertoire. You'll listen to it. You'll hear it for yourself. It's quite a fine piece. Well crafted, sounds like a blast to play. It's just good stuff. Louis Grunberg was an interesting composer that no one pays attention to anymore. On this particular disc, we've got the Vieuxtemps Concertos 4 and 5 And then a bunch of short goodies that Heifetz could just blast through like nobody else. Saint-Saëns, the introduction in Rondo Capriccioso and the Havanaise, the Sarasate Zigeunerweisen, and Waxman's Carmen Fantasy, which is just wonderful. I think it was written for Heifetz, wasn't it? Anyway, the Vieuxtemps works are with Barbaroli. One of them is Barbaroli in the London Phil from 1935. Vieuxtemps number 5 is with Malcolm Sargent, the London Symphony from 1947. It was all recorded on the 8th of November, 1947, if you want to be specific. The Saint-Saëns works are with Barbaroli in the London Phil and the London Symphony, respectively. And the Carmen Fantasy is with Donald Voorhees in the RCA Victor Symphony. It's classic Heifetz stuff, really is. Oh, my. Elgar and Walton. Isn't this juicy? Now, the Walton Concerto, this is with Goossens in the Cincinnati Symphony. Walton wrote it for Heifetz, and Heifetz is just dazzling and sort of untouchable in this piece. It really is. It's just an amazing performance. The Elgar is with Malcolm Sargent and the London Symphony, and it's controversial because he gets through it in 41 minutes and 28 seconds. He knocks like 9 minutes off of it. And some people have never forgiven him for that. I think it's just terrific. Of course, I enjoy the longer, more meditative performances. I really, really do. But the Elgar is a beast of a work, and it's just extraordinarily difficult technically, and also requires a lot of concentration because it's long. It's big. It's usually 50 plus minutes. And here, I mean, to get through it in 41 minutes is really quite special. It's kind of amazing, especially the finale. Which is, let's see, how long was this finale? It's 15 minutes and 15 and a half minutes or so, which is sort of remarkable. And it doesn't sound too fast. It really doesn't. It just sounds exciting, which the piece almost never does. So yeah, really terrific. And last but not least, we have the Brahms Double Concerto with Emanuel Feuermann and Eugene Ormandy from 1939. Wow. The Bruch Scottish Fantasy. This was, a Heifetz specialty. He played this better than anybody. This is with William Steinberg and the RCA Victor Orchestra from 1947. And the Glazunov Violin Concerto with Barbaroli and the London Phil from 1934. I'm so happy he championed the Glazunov. And actually, this is not that quick a performance. It's a minute or two slower than a lot of others that are out there. Usually it's a bit less than 20 minutes long or just around. This is 20 minutes and 8 seconds. You can't claim that he was hasty. He seems to really relish the work. And it is just a beautiful, beautiful concerto that doesn't get played because it's too short. Because 20 minutes and a little bit less seems to not be enough for most violinists. But boy, is it a beautiful piece. It's so well written for the instrument and gorgeously orchestrated and full of great tunes. I mean, the finale has that wonderful tune. Oh, it's great. So, that's Heifetz on Naxos Historical. More to come. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.